Welcome to the 98% podcast, where we hear real stories from real people. And I'm here with Chip and Lane. So, Chip, Lane, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a bodybuilder turned athlete who's currently getting in one of his meals for the day. I've been on the episode before. I don't remember what episode number it was. But I'm a handyman. I'm a father, and just I am a simple man.
Hey, that was the title of your podcast.
Yeah, I enjoy my food, my white monsters, and my rain under a tin roof. So I like the simple things in life.
Yes. So welcome back.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
Lane, this is your first time. Tell us about yourself.
It is my first time. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I am not a bodybuilder, unless you count my little keg I've got here. But no,
I was building a body.
Hey, man, it keeps me warm, sometimes too warm. No, I was I was a wrestler most of my life, and then did some football, a little bit of track, and then that's where my background is. And I kind of just did track all through college, and then ended up seeing somebody throwing a freaking tree on I think it was Instagram. And I was like, I want to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is badass.
Yeah. So that's how I came to be with the Highland Games. I just dove right in. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And so for everybody out there, so Lane will get his own episode pretty soon, so you'll get to learn more about him. But we wanted to do a special episode today where we just talk about the Highland Games. Since I competed in my first, you guys have been competing for a while, but I thought it'd be cool to all get together and just do a special one-off episode. So we can open the floor to anybody. So when did you all start Highland Games? How are you all feeling about it?
I'll go first on this one. So I started. This is my third year. So last year was 25, 24. So I think it was September 24. I actually got introduced at the Kansas City Renaissance Festival, their little exhibition type things. I went out and started talking to the guys that were putting it on. Lee Roberts is one of my buddies. He is one of the cast members there and puts it on, and he also competes. He hooked me up with some of the Facebook groups in the area that put on some games. But I did their little exhibition and took some nice photos, made me look cool throwing the weight and the K-Bird, and they used those for advertising for the next year. So it was kind of cool seeing that. And it was
intimidating. When I saw you, I was like, oh, I can't beat that guy. Just this big burly dude with no shirt and a kilt and this big old beard. I was like, I'd say he's going to beat me.
Yeah, I mean, and then from there, or it might have been the year before. It might have been 23 is when I started with that, and then I didn't make it out to anything because I just got busy. And then my first games, what I think was the next year after that, is a home game in Parkville, Missouri, up there by the river. So, and then I went out and Lee came out and threw. Fun fact. Nathan Hauser that was his first games as well.
Coach Hauser.
Yeah, we debuted our games at the same time in Parkville, Missouri. and we threw Class C, and he beat the tar out of all of us.
He still beats the tar out of everybody in A.
Oh, yeah, it is ridiculous. I mean, it was cool to watch.
Nathan Hauser is just Superman with a hint of kryptonite to kind of like bring him down to everybody else's level. So
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first games, and then I think I might have done two more after that, and then the next year was last year. I did 5 games. Met Chip at the Renaissance Festival. Found out we're from the same hometown.
Good old P Hill.
Yeah, Pleasant Hill, Missouri. And then he introduced me to Tom Van Vleck, one of our pros. Should be pro. If he's not, he is pro, isn't he?
Well, he's just in the 60-plus category now.
I mean,
I think he was pro back in the day.
I mean, if he's not pro,
he's been throwing for 30 years.
Yeah, if he's not pro in name, he's pro in experience. Like he's a goat. Like he's one of the greatest. And he's got world records in the weight over bar. Like that's my worst event. So I mean,
he's got like 30 or 40 world records.
Yeah,
I think like over time, and they've been beaten stuff. I think he said his shortest one of his world records, he thought he got, and it turns out there was another guy in another part of the country that got the world record. He got like an inch higher than Tom, like 10 minutes before Tom did. So, but Tom still counts it because he's like, because I thought I had it.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, and then I competed in like 3 C games or something like that, and then I moved up to Class B. I was B almost, I think, for 4 of my 5 games last year. And then this year with you guys was my Class A debut where I beat up my judge on accident. So,
to say the least.
Yeah. He sending me like daily updates of how his arm looked, and it's brutal. His arm is disgusting with the bruising and stuff, and I keep joking with him. It's like, I'll sign it if you want. Like, but he's like,
yeah.
No.
So for those that don't know, Lane doing his light hammer where you sling the Scottish hammer around and it goes really fast because it's the light one. And sometimes things get a little out of control, as they do in this sport. And he released it straight sideways, and Mike was standing a hair outside of the cage where he should not have been standing, and absolutely schluted his arm.
Yeah.
And took it like a man. Didn't flinch. Didn't make a noise. Nothing. Just kind of like walked around real slow and back.
Give me a second. I got it.
Yeah, and then he went over to Tiffany, which it was her first games too. Tiffany Todd. She's currently on NASCAR rating. She's number 3 in the nation, which is fucking badass for lightweight women.
Yeah.
For it being her first time. But he went over to her and he's like, if you don't mind, could you just, get me an ice pack, please, whenever you get a chance. Like super just calm, and it's like he could not have taken that hit better.
Yeah. And Ricky, I'll send you those pictures and the video, all that stuff too, so you guys can see it. And it's
Good job, Lane.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I dig that. And I guess before we go any further, we should probably explain what the Highland Games are to the viewer. So whoever wants to take that, you all know more about the origins than I do.
Sure. So from my perspective, the Highland Games is just exactly what it is. It originated in Scotland and kind of came about from like strength contests in everyday life. Like the caber originated. So the caber is just a big tree between probably 14 and 20 something feet long and up to 150 is one of the biggest capers that people are actually flipping if they're crazy strong. But getting them over the river, line them up, make them as a bridge, and that's where the caber scoring came from, is because you want them super straight. 12 o'clock noon, for looking at a clock, you throw from 6 to 12. 12's perfect, and you get a bunch of 12s in a row. easy bridge to get across the river with all those trees. And stones, just basically a pissing contest. I'm stronger than you. Oh, I'm stronger than you. We're just throwing that stone out there. And just like everything else is, like strength wise, it starts off as a pissing contest. So
it's like the weights for distance. It was because they were weights used to weigh wheat and stuff like that back in the old days, and that's how the weights were made. So a 100 pounder was like 112, and then a half 100 was 56, and that's quarter was 28. That's where the weights numbers come from. And it was just guys being. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll tell you another thing you didn't know either. That's funny that you mentioned, because it was guys just like, man, I can throw that further than you. So the saying of it being made from a bridge is actually a rumor that Tom Van Vleck started like 25 years ago.
Oh.
And it just spread like wildfire throughout the Highland Games. And so it's funny that, because he told me about it, because it originated from them just like they'd fell trees and then they would flip them into the river to like float down the river. And then he's like, oh yeah, they actually used it in war and stuff, and they'd like flip it over to build a bridge so the warriors could run across. And so it's funny because every now and then he'll hear that. And he started the rumor like 25 years ago.
I'm going to have to say something to him, making me damn it, Tom.
What a guy. What a guy.
That's funny. And actually, fun fact, there's my fork. One of our ninth event in the United States. That's not a traditional event, the sheaf throw. It was kind of like a for fun event when one dude went over to Scotland to throw and like, oh, let's do this. And he thought it was an official games. So he brought
from St. Louis, actually.
Yeah.
So
that's why we throw
sheaf toss is a blessing from God himself.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far.
I love the sheep. I love the sheep so much.
It's fun. I just can't seem to figure out consistency with it. It's the heighted events for me are rough. I'm considered a short athlete at 5'11". I'm not very tall, so
I'm considered short at 6'2".
You are not short. You are well above average.
Have you seen these pros that are like 6'6" and 6'7"? You are nuts.
Yes. I threw in college. I was a little guy where speed come in handy because throwing shot put and hammer, I can move my feet in Olympic hammer. Mm-hmm. Way different than Highland hammer. Little guy, speed comes in handy. Now, it doesn't come as much handy in Highland Games because I can't move my feet. So it pays to be a big guy. Mass moves mass.
Yeah, but watching you do your open stone is like, oh my God, it's like art in motion. It's like, because I'm telling, it's like, watch Lane throw his throw. Watch Lane, watch him, he's about to throw his throw. It's like, I want everybody to watch because it's just this beautiful spin. And even other dudes that I've watched, there's just something about like your physique and the way that kilt is just flowing in your spin. And it is art. It is pure art.
I mean,
do your open stone.
I love a good kilt twirl. It's kind of sexy to watch. Like you get that thing up there, and it's just a little hint of middle thigh, upper thigh. It just looks so good, especially watching your videos. Like, oh, I look great as I'm throwing this thing real far, real heavy. No, that spin technique though was drilled into me for 5 years in college and then 1 year in high school because I couldn't throw my senior year of high school because I blew my knee out at wrestling. So when I was able to finally start practicing, I taught myself the spin because it's less impactful on my knee than the glide. So I just kind of messed around with it. And when I got to college, I just spun full time. Because
I tried it the other day and I about puked looking at my form.
The spin? Talking about the spin?
Yeah, it was. I was like, I'm going to try to pump a couple of these out, and I did it twice, and I was like, I'm done. Yeah,
it was like something that a lot of like normal, I say normal people, like we're crazy. I mean, we kind of are. Don't understand that throwing is mostly technique. Like you have to be strong for certain areas, but everything's mostly technique. Because strength only gets you so far. Like you can probably stand throw 25 feet real easy. Most people can throw 25 feet real easy with a 16-pound. But you add a little bit of a spin or a little bit more hip drive or a little bit more foot turn and elbow pop, and that thing's going to go 35 feet. And it's just the little things that add up to real big numbers. And it's actually amazing once somebody figures it out to watch. I'm also a coach, by the way. That I kind of geek out over these things.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, at least when it comes to shot put and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, you guys
Nice.
both like destroy me all day long in stones. That's my worst event.
I think you actually, fun fact, I still have the little certificate sitting right here because I haven't done anything with it yet. I want to say you beat me.
What?
No, not an open stone. Never mind. I thought you did.
That was a rough day for me.
I threw my crap in my stones.
What'd you throw?
Okay, so my Bramer stone was 28.9. Okay.
That was terrible for you. That is bad for you.
Yeah, because I think my PR is like 32 or something, and then my open stone was 35.9, and my PR with that is 39.10 or something like that. I don't know what wasn't like the stone was perfect. I loved the way that stone felt. I just couldn't connect it, but it was also first games of the year. I was throwing with a good stone because my stones I throw with square stones like you guys saw them.
He throws a big 6-sided dice.
Yeah, pretty much. I throw with something bad, so when that's my theory is if I throw with something bad, then whenever I get a good stone, it feels even better, and I'll throw further. It's like you got to prepare for the worst because not every game is going to have a stone that you're going to like.
I got a few shot puts in my Amazon cart because Jacob Langworthy was talking about that. He's like, you have so many different variances in the stones, and you get used to one, and then all of a sudden you go to a different stone, it throws you off. So versus if you just use a sphere that's perfectly round, you learn on that, and then it can transition to like everything else after that is crappier.
Yeah, I agree with that to a point, simply because the motions are almost identical. However, the hand placement and trying to find because when I throw a shot put, my hands look like this, real close. Now, when I throw a stone, they widen out a little bit because you never know how that stone's going to grip, and you want.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing holding a stone. I like sometimes this, sometimes that. I'm just like whatever feels good. I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants here on stones.
Yeah, well, throwing shot put for so many years, I kind of honed it down. So you get all your fingers real close and push all the weight right here. You can get better flick off your fingers because you can push out like this as hard as you want, and it's going to go pretty far. But you get it more on your fingers and kind of like spring load your wrist, and it gets to the tip, and it's kind of like a catapult, springs it out a little bit better.
Trebuchet is the more prestigious weapon, by the way.
That's another thing I can get on. I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, no, so I agree, like learning on the shot put is really good, but I think throwing a bad stone, in my opinion, is a little bit better because they're more awkward. Because you can hold a shot put in your neck really easily, which is nice to learn the forms. But I think when you start getting in competition mode, you need to throw a stone because it's so much bigger and more awkward, and it's harder to keep in your neck. So if you can practice the harder thing, the easier stone is to come along and just surprise you.
That's fair. I like the Braemar stone at Tom's because it's literally a stone that's been like lopped off on one side.
Yeah. I also like Tom's Place because it's got concrete.
Yeah.
And I can wear my throwing shoes, like my actual spinning shoes.
Yeah. That was beautiful. That was my first introduction to stones, was watching Lane. And then everybody else just sucks past that. So,
dude, I still think it's funny that our first games together, they were going to throw us both in C class. And then I was like, I kind of went back a little bit, and I was like, no, I don't want to be in C class. Just put us up there. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, I don't want to be by myself. And Chad's like, he's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to go? I was like, yeah, I'd rather get the shit beat out of me than just get handed a trophy by being the only one in the class. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I beat all you guys. So,
You did actually, like, because I had already been competing in B class, and that was my season ender. Was Tom's Games last year in October.
and that was I had flipped a caber for the first time like a month and a half prior to that.
Yeah.
So I'd had like 4 or 5 weeks of training, and then first competition.
Yeah, that was your first games. I forgot about that. No, that was pretty cool because you were entered in C because you'd never done one before, and then they were going to drop me down to C, so you wouldn't be by yourself. And I kind of argued a little bit with that. Not really argued, like advocated, and I was like, no, let's go up. And then me and you ended up going 1 and 2. You went in first, and I got second.
Which is funny because they were going to put us both in C, and then we, as the C guys, we beat the 2B guys.
Yeah.
So, and then the hammer toss was it was a ding dong battle because I can't remember if it was the heavy or light, but we kept going like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I think it was the light hammer.
So
Tom's place is kind of
slightly downhill.
Yes, it's kind of unique in that way because most places you throw a hammer, it's pretty flat. Tom's, after about 85, 90 feet, just starts going downhill on that right side. So if you can keep it to that right side, it just gains some distance.
So far, my best there is like 106.
Yeah, that's nice. I think, what did I throw there?
Ricky's shaking his head like, gosh dang it, dude, get out of here.
Yeah, that's the event I got to work on.
Those blades help.
Yeah, I've actually got the certificate from Tom's Games last year that has us both on here. So it's so stones, I won both. I got second in heavyweight, first in lightweight, second heavy hammer, second in light hammer. And my best was 97, 10 and a half in the light hammer. And you went, was that the time you went 106? Or did you go 99 or something?
No, I have that one too. I did 106 in practice. It's always in practice.
I got you.
That was, I did 98 feet 2 inches for my very first games.
Oh yeah,
you hammer
4 inches.
Yeah, that was the one because I knew it was like we were like neck and neck, and then it's like I ended with I had 4 extra inches, and then at the Renaissance Festival where I met Ricky, I'm like, I got it in the bag. I got it in the bag on the stones, and then this pretty boy muscled out with his badass Polger and just walks by, and I'm like, gosh dang it, there's first place right there. So, dude, and then he beat me by 4 inches.
You said Pauldron. I think I actually remember you. Were you there? Because you guys.
He was the handsome one there. He was the most handsome one there.
What day did you guys meet? Because I showed up.
It was the same day. So they did all 3 events the same day. So they did stones, and then an hour and a half, 2 hours later they did the caber, and then another hour and a half, 2 hours later they did the.
You did caber too, Ricky, didn't you?
No.
No, I actually only did stones.
But you were there the rest of the day?
I was there for a little bit. I didn't watch a whole lot. I was there with my parents. But
were you walking around with the pauldron and your shirt off?
I totally was.
Yeah, he was pretty.
I remember seeing you now, actually.
Yeah. I was wondering if I saw you there. Yeah.
You did. I remember seeing you now because it was the end of summer and you were tan. You were dark.
I was.
Yeah, I do remember seeing you now. That's crazy. All 3 of us met the same day at the Renaissance Festival, different times.
And look at us now.
Yeah, look at us.
A bunch of misfits of the Highland Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Chip, tell us about your last games because you have a good story about your last games.
So,
it was last weekend, wasn't it?
It was like a week and a half ago. Yeah. So.
Oh, the Wichita one.
Yeah. I have a competition this weekend in Decatur. Yeah.
Oh, Decatur's this week.
So I'm ready for that one because I'm healthy this time. So, our competition a week and a half ago, that was my 3rd games ever, which was also because my first 2 competitions were B, got first place in both of them. So they're like, you need to go to A class. If you don't, you're an asshole. So I'm like, and I was kind of keeping up with the A guys on their numbers. So I'm just, and then it immediately goes to off season, so like 4 out of my 6 months of the Highland Games is spent in the dead of winter time. And so then, season things are warming up, so I'm just getting jazzed, and it's like, and I'm just pumped and excited. I'm posting about it on Facebook, and like, I'm so excited. I'm so ready for this competition. It's my very first A class. It's like, I'm probably not gonna win. I'm probably gonna get the snot beat out of me, but I'm gonna do a good job. And then the week before, like the Monday before, where the competition was on Saturday, I come down with influenza B, and I'm a violent puker, and I puked like every 20 to 30 minutes starting at 1 a.m., and that lasted for about 4 or 5 hours. And so I was just ended up being sick the entire week leading up to the competition, and I forced myself to go to work for 2 of the days just because it's like, I need to make some money for the weekend because I'm going to be out of town. So went to work 2 of the days, and then Friday I was like, I'm feeling pretty decent. Like, okay, tomorrow's going to be good. It's like because I was struggling with nausea all week long and just trying to eat soup. And like, I was pretty good about drinking my water. So I stayed fairly hydrated. And then competition day comes around, and I wake up nauseous, and it's like, gosh, dang it. and we go to breakfast that morning, and I can only eat half my breakfast. And most anybody that knows me, it's like, like my bodybuilder days, I would eat 7 meals a day regularly. That was just a normal thing. And I would just pound huge meals. So now I eat 4 to 5 meals a day, but they're all fairly sized meals. This was a small breakfast, and I could only eat half of it. And then I'm just sitting there trying not to hurl. And it's like, this is going to be a rough day. And so we get to the competition, and then my best friend, Tiffany, where it's her first competition that day, she's like throwing me Tums and like apple juice and basically like being the mom all day. She's like, make sure you eat your Tums, here's some apple juice. Like, so she brought stuff for me because she knew I was sick. And that's kind of what kept me from puking all day, was eating like chewable Tums every 2 hours. And so basically I was at my weakest because I'd spent the whole week barely eating, not training at all, and just in bed most of the time. And so I come out and just do god awful. It was like, and so my numbers were all the way across the board were worse than my very first competition at Tom's. Because I compared them, I was like, yeah, it was a crappy day. And then I couldn't even eat lunch that day. And then even at dinner that night, I skipped dinner. And because everybody went out together afterwards to eat Saturday night. And, we went to this great place, tons of good food, and everybody's getting all this super delicious stuff. And I'm just sitting there with like my water with lime in it that I could like barely even sip out of. Everybody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay. It's like, I don't feel good, but I'm okay. They're like, do you need to go lay down? It's like, no, I'm trying to enjoy what little bit of time I have. So it was a rough day to say the least, but I had an absolute blast. It's always super fun, like throwing with Lane, because it's fun to throw with your friends. That's why, Ricky, you need to get up to the A class so we can all throw together. And so it was just a really good group of guys throwing together. That, and then getting to watch Tiffany compete, and then the next day I felt a little better. Plus, the next day, I'm not competing now, and I can just kind of walk around the field. So I got to watch my son compete. He competed for the first time. Got this really nice picture of him because he had a USA flag or USA themed kilt that's a red, white, and blue plaid. And he's very patriotic. And I got this really nice picture of him standing like right in front of this waving flag in the wind. And so he competed, and Tom competed that day. And Tom actually competed against a guy that I was talking to for like a few months on Reddit in the 60 plus class. And I told him, I was like, just so you know, you might get the snot beat out of you. Because he's only been throwing for like a year. And then Ricky, like little round of applause for Ricky it being his first competition. Like I don't want to steal the spotlight, Ricky. So why don't you take it away, Ricky, now, and you tell us about your phenomenal day that you had.
My first competition. Okay. Let's see. Well, I mean, I had one practice with you all
Yeah, and
for
never
a
even
couple
touched a
hours.
caber.
Never touched a caber. And yeah, I just remember showing up, and the first thing we did was weights for distance, and we started off with the heavy one, of course. And I remember I was practicing. The one thing I was doing in the gym was just practicing my spin, and then I didn't practice with the 56 with you guys though. Like I threw it once. I was practicing with the lightweight one because I thought I was going to be competing lightweight. So when I started spinning with that one, I was like, "Oh snap! This is
It
this spin is
sucks.
not working for
It
me."
sucks.
It's
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah, and I watched the video you got of me doing that one. I'm like, oh, that looks so ugly.
It's yeah, they're not like
Uh,
when you first start and you're doing the 56, like it's just disgusting. Like
yeah,
I don't think anybody had a pretty spin like their first time with a 56.
No,
no, no,
it keeps
yeah,
people nuts. Like it's bad. You got to keep your
yeah,
so tight when you're doing that.
for sure. So I'm looking forward to doing that one again. I ended up getting second in that one. And then I did the open weights for distance, and I got first in that one. And I felt much better because it was lighter, so I could get my spin down at least enough to do okay.
Yeah.
So that felt pretty good. So I got first in that one. And then we went over to the stones, and yeah, that was my jam.
Oh yeah, you just
So
dominated.
yeah, so yeah, so let's see, I threw,
It's like
can't remember.
38.
Yeah, yeah. So I won the heavy one, and then the open stone. Yeah, 38.9 is what I threw, and
What'd you
that
throw in Braemar?
I think it was. I'd have to go grab my thing. I think it was 27 or 28. I
Yeah.
think.
Still, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah, it was the open stone was 11 feet further than second place. So, so I was like, well, that's my event I need to keep doing
Yeah.
for sure. So I was stoked about that. So that was good. Ended up getting first in weight over bar, which was cool because I didn't know
Yeah.
how I'd do it that one. Because when you guys came over, I was just throwing it. There was no bar, and I was like, dang, this sucks.
How are your scores up here right now, Ricky? I pulled them up on Heavy Athlete.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Your Bramer was 27.8. Your
Okay.
open was 38.9. Your heavyweight was 16.6. Your lightweight was 45.3. Heavy hammer 53.8.5. Light hammer 67.05. And then sheath was 14 and wild was 10. And then your caber you had a 130.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Camber
Sweet.
video was like showed six pack and everything.
Yeah,
I don't know.
everybody's taking their. Huh?
I don't know how you did it with no shirt.
Oh, Matt Smith. So Matt Smith, he also does Invictus implements. So little plug for him. So he makes like Highland Games implements and does like a pretty good job for just starting doing it too. One of my favorite guys to see at competitions just because of like the energy that he brings. And he has a thing when you do caber, shirts come off. Like that's just his thing. And even Ian came over there. He's like, whose freaking idea was it to take shirts off? And I was like, it's Matt. Like, it's his thing. You know, he takes shirts off for caber, and he just, like, shook his head and walked off. So, but that's just like if you're throwing caber with Matt Smith, like, you're taking your shirt off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Secretly, it was so I didn't get a bad tan line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got, oh, I did.
Dude, yeah. But,
Yeah, I probably still got, yeah. See, you can still kind of see mine. My necklace at least kind of, like, cuts it. So a little bit.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so for first experience, it was nice. So I took first in four of the 9 events, but ended up coming in second overall with the one guy. Because, man, I did so bad at sheaf and some of those other ones. I need to work on my light hammer, which I thought I would do way better than the heavy hammer, but I didn't. And then, yeah, sheaf, I just got to figure that out. That was a tough one for me.
Well, and the hammer too, it's really, really big on that technique because there's literally just from having the end of the hammer, your low point where it's supposed to be at your right foot if you're right-handed, just from having it there versus the low point at your left foot will cut off like 15, 20 feet. It's wild the amount of distance. Because there was one day I was like doing hammers, and my light hammer is going just as far as my heavy, and I'm like, what in the crap? And I'm recording it, and then I go back and watch it, and I'm like, oh, that's why. It's like my low point was like essentially right before I released. So, yeah, it's all those little minute details. That's why which is why I record all my throws and eventually started posting it, just so you can see, how bad I am at everything. So.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good to see that. It's because it helped me too. So thank you for recording, by the way. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't get like better videos because I was like trying to record Ulrich and you, and I'm like running here and running there, and then ADHD brain. It's like, oh, look at the cloud going by, It's oh crap, Ricky, and it's like I got you falling.
Yep. Yeah, that was good. But so I'm excited. So so I signed up so I got the one on May 17th that we're doing now, and then we got the one Tom's.
Good.
So
yeah.
Are
you going to Tom's Lane?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go.
I thought you were. Oh, and I got the email for Decatur. There's 7 of us in Class A. Josh Veach will be there. He competed up. He has got like how Lane is with his open stone. Josh Veach is like that with sheath because he does a spinning sheath, and it is beautiful.
He's the first one I saw spin, I think. No, he's the first and second one I ever saw spin. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really unique. But they said, I guess this is going to be the very last games in Decatur, is what the email said, just because of like complications and stuff that they've been having. So, but I'm excited for this one because I'm actually like not going to be sick. And if I suck again, then I just need to get better and suck less.
Only up.
Yeah. That's if I'm at the bottom. Like the only way is up. So, I mean, I got a family member that every time she hits bottom, she like pulls out dynamite and gets a little further. So,
yeah.
But it's her life, it's her decisions. Choices we make to take the life we live.
Yeah. So I signed up for B this time. So I'm working my way up so I can compete with you guys because that'll be cool to all compete together.
Oh yeah definitely.
So I have. I mean, I can try to pull it up. So I was looking at this thing of trying to judge when you should move up and this and that, and there was actually an old post on NASGA. Let me see if I can find it. So they I think they were in like the 70s or something is when they made that, and everybody was arguing about when to move up, and the numbers aren't the same, and this and that, and really they kind of are, because they think according to the dude that did it, if you're in the top 70% of throwers, like that's the A's, or 70 or 30, whatever what they 30%. Say on here. It's right. Yeah, top 30%. Like you take the top 30%, you cut out the rest of 70, and then that's the A class. So for moving from, this is the guy that I kind of used to judge to see if I was ready. Moving from B to A in the men's class. So Bramer, you should be throwing 31 feet, which I had done. Open stone, 36. Lightweight, 52. Heavyweight, 26. Light hammer, 90. Heavy hammer, 73. Wob, 12. I'm not going to get started on wob. I've only ever tickled 12. Again, I'm not very tall.
See, my wob pisses me off because I'm struggling with my technique on wob because wob, my best is 14 feet, and I haven't even tickled it since then. So, and then like at that last competition, I was just, because that was like our last event, and I'm just so gassed out at that point. It's like I've had applesauce and like 2 Uncrustables is all I've eaten, and then like that half of breakfast. And I feel like I barely got 12, and then 13 was just like, I was just donezo at that point. So, and then whenever C's were throwing the next day, I thought it was funny because like you guys were all struggling with 11, and I was like, look, and you just throw it like this. And I like walked up and just like lobbed it over, and there was one dude in the crowd that was like, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm not one of the competitors today. So
Yeah, thanks.
He got to me like he was already gone. No, I hate wob so much. I was struggling with. I think I tried twice at 11 and got it, and then I almost got 12. Like it was, if it would have rolled, I would have got 12. It's just something about doing that motion. I just can't get it. Tom told me he'd teach me his little side throw for wob, but he says everybody that he's taught doesn't like it. So we'll see if I like it or not. I have terrible shoulders, so I feel like more arm rather than shoulder might help me.
Well, so when I was talking to Coach Hauser, so when him and Clint Dake, I competed alongside them down in Oklahoma because they were in A class and I was my B class. And they were just riding my ass on like what to do because they put the A's and B's together because we only had so many judges. And Nathan was like, Chip, your shoulder's fucked up. Stop using your shoulder. He's like, use your back. And so he's like, do all back, 100% back, explode from your back. And it's like, and I do that water bottle trick too, where it comes in high, you swoop around, and then you throw up. And then Clint was very adamant about don't swing way out in front of you because you're losing all your momentum. He's like, you got to think like you're Michael Jackson, hand down at the crotch, hands straight up. And literally doing those two things, doing that, that, and then all back, and that and something just clicked, and I hit 14 feet, and I was just like, and now anytime I see a bar go up to that, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I have no idea how I did that. But a lot of it is, I was talking to one guy on TikTok about it, and wob is his best, and he said just explode the crap out of your hips, which was like what Nathan was telling me with my back. If you explode your back, it's the same as throwing those hips forward, and that's how you'll get that drive going. Because you want that weight to move as far as it can before you have to start going up with your arm.
Yeah, it makes sense. Get the momentum to
and then it's all about momentum and technique. So
yeah, I need to practice that more often. I got to give me a wob. I hate it so much. That 56 pounds is so heavy.
Yeah, I'm ready for Masters. I'll get to move to a 42 pound.
I'm so far away from Masters. It's ridiculous.
How old are you? 28?
I'm 26.
Oh, you little baby.
Hey,
Ricky.
Huh?
Ricky, aren't you like 30?
36.
Oh, shit. You guys are handsome for your age. I'm also 36.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Okay, so one thing I'd like is I've had quite a few people ask about it, and if you were to give advice for someone just starting, what should they do before they start their first games?
Buy a kilt, buy Uncrustables, go to your first games.
Yeah,
have a comfortable pair of tennis shoes. My very first game that I did out at Tom's, I learned more that one day throwing around the A's and the B's than I did the entire month and a half leading up to because I have I have ADHD and just like maybe a smidge of autism, and that combined together has me like aggressively researching stuff when I get obsessed. And the amount of like videos and articles and everything, and then going out and practicing and going to Tom's and everything, all that was like a drop in the bucket compared to what I learned on competition day. So that's why I say it's like you can practice a little bit here and there if you want, but really you're going to learn the most on comp day.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I did all my learning.
Kilt, shoes, Uncrustables, competition.
See, I totally agree
Yeah.
with that because I've been talking to some people about first one, and everybody thinks like, oh, well, I got to practice to do all this. I was like, to be real, I learned a lot from that competition, like just from being there, just the atmosphere itself. And in C class, everybody's just coaching you anyways, so it's
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's the way to go.
I enjoyed too, like since I on Sunday, since I wasn't throwing, kind of hanging out with the C
Uh-huh.
class and like giving pointers here and there and stuff. So it's just, especially like on the caber, because caber is one of my better events, which is hilarious because I got fifth in caber because was everybody was throwing 12s. And my third caber throw, like I went to like go pull, and my energy just tanked, and I just kind of just lobbed it. So, but yeah, that which, and you saw too, the pick is so important, or getting your hands down
Uh-huh. Yep.
all the way at the bottom. So, and then it's that, getting those legs spread out, because it's total opposite of a squat. And that's where it's like, being in the gym for as long as you have, you get so used to everything's like back straight, everything's straight up and down. It's like, forget all that. We're going to arch our back as far as it goes, spread our legs out, and use all back coming up.
It's kind of comparison to like a good morning, like with
Yeah.
just bend
Oh,
over,
yeah, definitely.
kind of like a good morning.
Yeah.
That's what I would compare it to, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning with spread legs.
That is a good
Yeah.
morning.
So, like my ex. Anyway. Not my most recent one. Not my most recent one. This was like a one. Yeah. Not my ex-wife either. Disclaimer. So neither one of them.
Dude, I'm excited to throw caber again because it took me. I mean, you were there. Like
Yeah.
the first three, I couldn't do anything with,
Yeah.
and I finally got that one, and I felt so good about it.
Yeah. And it was a good video too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's nice. Sweet. Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to share before we close down the Highland Games special?
Chip, have you looked at our rankings so far?
I don't want to. I don't want to see my
I haven't.
after that competition.
So I'll let you guess. So there are
Last.
currently no. Well, there are currently in the amateur men, because Heavy Athlete got away with the class system, so everybody from A to novice is just amateur men. So all of us are on the same ranking list. So there are currently 233 entries in the amateur men in all of North America. So Alaska, Canada, Mexico, United States, all of that. Obviously, we'll get more throughout the season. So I'm going to let you guess.
232.
Stop. Me and you are right next to each other. They're consecutive numbers. So I'm going to let you guess what we are.
42 and 43.
Really close. Really close. We're 46 and 47.
Ooh, that was close. So
Yeah, we're top 50 right now for the beginning of the
just
season.
wait till July, and then we'll be like, 458.
I don't know, man. Like, I think we keep doing pretty well. We'll stay up there.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see like numbers at the end of the year. So,
Yeah. I mean, my goal, because I think I finished, if my games from Tom's would have got entered in, I would have been like, I think top 160 out of a little over 1,000 competitors for the last season. But on there, I think it's like 196 out of like a little 1,000 something. My goal this year is I want to be in the top 80 consistently throughout the whole year. I think that's kind of low based off of what my aspirations are for this season.
Yeah.
So what about you? Where do you think you want to, what's your goal for like rankings? Like, where do you want to be?
So I tend to shoot high. I want to be top 10. I
Yeah.
like that, and the reason that is, even if it's unrealistic, I would rather give a ceiling too high to hit. That way, I don't give myself a ceiling that is too low.
That's fair.
Because if you aim, because there was a talk Jordan Peterson had one time about it. He's like, if you aim high, you're going to keep getting closer and closer and closer and closer to that. Even if it's an unrealistic expectation, you're going to continue to get closer because you're not giving yourself a ceiling. You're going to continue to try to change and do better versus like, let's say you are shooting for top 80. You're getting close to that. You know, you almost like might hit top 80 and then you might kind of coast a little bit versus like, if I'm going to shoot I may only make it to top, 70, or top 80. And that's it. But if I keep shooting for that top, like that's my goal. It's like top 10 by the time I'm a master's when I turn 40, which originally my goal was like, oh, I want to eventually go pro with this. And now I'm looking at these pro guys and I'm like, maybe not. Like those guys are really good. So I do want to, in the next few years, I want to get a 130-foot light hammer. So,
yeah. There's not even there's in the top 10, there is one light hammer over 120 as of right now. But top 10 as like for the beginning of the season is pretty realistic. Like all these numbers are pretty doable, honestly, for both of us. The only one like that stands out that is, especially for me, that's kind of unrealistic for at least this season is weight for height. Like when you're looking at the top 10 or even probably the top 20, the numbers that kind of stand out that are like above is weight for height. Yeah. Like all there's one outlier at 13 at number 9, but everybody else is 15, 16, 17, 18. Number 4 is 21 feet for weight for height.
That's more than the world record's like 19.
The world record's 20 feet 6.
What?
According to the heavy athlete records up here, it's 20 feet 6.
Yeah, that's so fucking high.
And
you got that. You got that in the bag.
It's Alex Hercules. So I wonder if that's
wait, what's the name?
Alex Hercules.
That's Ron Hercules' son. He's a junior.
Yeah, well, they either they entered him in wrong or
yeah, because he's throwing a 21-pound.
Yeah, I'm pulling him up right here. Yeah, so that was at the Wichita Games. So he was
because he threw against Ulrich. He always with him there. He's getting first. Ulrich actually got like I think 15 or 16 feet on weight over bar.
So they actually entered him in the men's amateur ranking.
I wonder if he's going to be 18 this year.
Yeah, he got entered in as the other category. So, yeah, honestly, I think they need to fix that because he's not even throwing the same weights as us. But according to that, he
ain't even throwing half.
But he got, I mean, he's what, 15, 16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
But he's a monster of a kid, though. Like he's a big kid. Like he's even bigger than his dad. Like height wise, like he keeps developing that muscle.
Is he taller than Ron? Ron's a big dude.
Yeah, he's taller than Ron. Like I was watching him. Like he's taller than his dad. If only by a little.
Talking about Ricky. Ron
yeah,
Hercules?
I do know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but he keeps on that, and he's going to destroy people. Like.
Just wait till he turns 18. He's got to throw that 56.
Yeah.
It'd be a culture shock. And then his lightweight will be a 28 then, because right now his heavyweight's only a 21.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they had all these people in here that are not throwing the correct weights. So honestly, we're probably higher 40s, lower 30s if you think about that.
Yeah.
If they got the kids classes in here.
Yeah. Yeah, is Ulrich in there?
He should be. Hold on.
Same last name as me.
Let me control F this thing.
Look at you guys putting your first and last name on the bottom of your little rectangles, and I just did Chip.
So on the amateur list, Ulrich is 103rd.
Okay.
Yep, 103rd for the being entered in as an amateur,
Nice.
which not bad.
Yeah, he really liked the hammer throw, so he did really good at the. And I was it kind of sucked because normally he's really good at caber, and he didn't do so good at caber that day because he's not used to the top heavy cabers. He's used to like the practice one I have here. It's just 2x6s screwed together
that have no weightedness at all to the top of them cabers. They're so hard to flip.
See, like mine is like I've done it so many times. It's like that's what I'm used to.
Tom's cabers suck, in my opinion, to flip because they're so heavy and there's no counterbalance whatsoever.
Yeah, same weight all the way down.
Oh, they're so hard to flip.
Yeah, it took me 3 tries to get that one.
Dude, I didn't even get a flip that day on a caber. Like they did the qualifier, and I didn't flip that either.
Yeah, they did the qualifier, and I just like caber's like one of my better events though. So like the qualifier, I just like yeeted, no big deal. And then they're like, we're gonna get a bigger caber, and it's like,
yeah.
So
yeah, like I know I showed Chip the picture, but I don't know if I showed you, Ricky. I live in the hood, so, and you'll see this on Saturday. I'll bring it when we go practice. I have a chode caber that I made. It is, it fits in my trunk. It's about 4 foot long, and it weighs about 100 pounds.
Yeah, it's like this bigger. It's a straight chode.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably about this high.
Man, if I was you, I would carve like the chode into the side of that thing.
Oh, I pretty much could. Like I've got all the tools and woodworking stuff to do that. Yeah, I might. You know, that's a good idea. I might carve and burn into that thing the chode. That's a good idea. But I'm gonna bring it on Saturday when we go practice. You'll see that. But that's what I did for practicing caber because I don't have any other way, and I knew it was one of my most horrible events. And with that one, the goal is to kind of throw it for height because it's so short. If you can get that thing up high, and I know if I flip it twice in the air before it touches the ground, that it was a good throw because it's so short and so heavy.
And I think that helped you in your caber, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
doing just that thing because it helps build that power and that timing that you need for whenever you're flipping the bigger stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because the caber is kind of like a shoulder lift as well as a curl, and it's kind of a lat rate. What was that?
Probably somebody stealing something.
Again, yeah. My girlfriend's car got stolen out in front of my house right before the games, actually.
But hey, your Olympic hammer didn't, which was wild.
Yeah, and I still feel like a jackass for having you go back and get that.
Shut the front door.
Hey,
okay.
Hey. Fine. I do want to see you try to throw it though.
Tear a bicep. Crank my knee wrong.
Speaking of tearing a bicep, dude, I remember.
The farmer's carry. Yeah, you about tore your bicep on that.
Yeah, Ricky, did you guys do the farmer's carry afterwards too on Sunday?
Yeah,
we did.
And let me tell you my complaint with the Sunday farmer's carry. Okay, because I was up first for A's, and I'm thinking it's just down and back. Okay, so I'm going down and back, and I'm getting ready to drop them, and there was a keep going, and mentally I'm already dropping them, and so I try to regrip, and I didn't have anything left because my body was like, we're done, we're giving up because it's just down and back. I didn't know we were supposed to keep going, and then Sunday they go to do it, and it's just down and back time, and I'm like, gosh, dang it. So yeah,
dude, those drill bits were heavy. They were at least 200 pounds a piece, if not more.
How far did you get, Ricky, by the way?
I got 61 feet.
Okay.
With it, which wasn't bad. I just wish I would have went first because I should have watched everybody do it. Afterwards, I would have done a few things different for sure.
Oh, it sucks going first.
Yeah.
So
I think I went third, from everybody.
And then, and Tiffany did it. She so whenever, because like the women, they had like 100-pound things, and she thought she was going to get 3 steps, and then she got like around 61, 63 feet, I think, with it. So she's a little badass.
Yeah, I didn't even think I was be able to pick those things up, to be quite honest. Because if they do it again this year, the guys that put on the St. Louis games is the Gateway Caberman, and I think it's the Tolly Stones, Ben Tolly. He brings out these giant slabs of, I think they're granite, and they're just massive. One of them's like 250, the other one's like 245, 240. And they're on circle handles, so they're just crunching your hand the whole time, and they're not real big handles. And I think they did it for distance too, but I don't think there was a down and back. It was just straight. And I tried it after that games last year, and I thought I was going to just tear out my groin, and I didn't even try to pick those up. But I got third in the farmer's carry. I got like 114 feet. And I did it pretty quick too. It was nice.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I got done, and then you're like, "Oh, dude, you're a freaking beast," and then you go and beat me, and it's like, get fucked.
I surprised myself because I thought I wasn't going to be able to pick him up. I just picked him up, set my shoulders, like, here we go. But
I'm curious how far I would have gone had I known I could have just kept going.
Yeah,
that's how it is. Like when you mentally are like, okay, that's the finish. Your body is done and it shuts down. So
yeah. Like I got to there and I was like, I need to keep going because I was like, okay, I'm in first as of right now, but I need to extend that lead just in case.
Yeah.
And because my grip was fine, like I hook gripping, I was locked in. There was no way I was letting those go because my hands were dead at that point, so I couldn't. I'm always hooking. What are you talking about? Got them things locked in there, and I take a couple steps after rounding. I went down, back, and then I was on the way down again, and I feel a pop right up here in my bicep, and I was like, nope, I'm done. As soon as I felt that, I was done. And looking back, nothing hurts. It was a little sore. I'm thinking it was a little scar tissue that had been built up over some time that popped. But to play safe, I dropped it and was done. And I think that was the smart choice, honestly, because I was just proud of myself for picking them up because they were massive.
Oh yeah, and there's no point in hurting yourself over something you're not even gonna win, other than just like bragging rights.
Yeah.
JD, I think he got like a little over 200 feet with them.
Yeah, the furthest guys, they've got 200 feet even, and then they ended up doing the lightweight ones for time.
Yeah,
down back to figure out who won. But I think the one in St. Louis, the Tolly Stones, I think they had a prize on the line. I want to say it was $300 last year was the prize for whoever got the furthest.
So I like the 10th events. I'm trying to talk Tom into doing a 10th one in October because it'll be close to Halloween. I told him, I was like, dude, you should paint all the weights like jack-o'-lanterns, make it like kind of Halloween themed. And then the 10th event, make it a pumpkin toss. Like whoever can throw a pumpkin the farthest over their head. He doesn't like 10th events. And he's like, how about you just throw it up and I'll shoot it with a shotgun? And I'm like, I'll do that. Fine. Like,
I still think a good 10th event, I was talking to Jacob about it in Wichita, would be sheaf for distance. I think that would be kind of fun.
I would be the worst one at that because mine's so straight up and down.
Yeah, because I would get one of my, like, I would do like a discus spin, get around here and just yeet.
Oh yeah, you'd have to do it in the hammer cage because I know I'd be yeeting that somewhere.
Imagine getting hit with a 20-pound bag of twine just in your face.
I'd almost rather that. I'd rather do it with a 10-pound bag. Like imagine how much freaking whip you could get on that thing.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Ricky, do you have anything to add?
Do I have anything? No, dude. I was just glad to have you guys on and just talk about it because I don't think many people know about it, and I didn't really know about the Highland Games really till the Ren Fest when I met all you guys. Okay, well, anything else you guys want to share? Are we all good?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay, sweet.
Maybe we'll do this again next year. or
Hey,
down the road after you finally move up with us.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm
You
here
might.
for that.
I feel like you'll do like one or two more games at B, and then you'll be up with us. To be quite honest.
Yeah, once you kind of get like your technique down, especially if
Yep.
you can get some of the implements, uh, and then because that field right by your house is a perfect spot to practice.
Yep.
So, but yeah, either way, I'm looking forward to St. Louis next month. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this weekend, but so I can actually like see if I really do suck or if I can still blame it on the sickness. So,
You got to get down with the sickness.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
not feeling down with it that day. I was holding everything down. So.
Hey, at least you held everything down.
Oh,
Last
I mean,
throw
bless,
up.
bless
Throw up.
Tiffany though, because like I ate like half of her thing of Tums. I was eating those things like candy, trying to get through the day.
Oh, your
So
kidneys are gonna hate you later.
that's okay. Oh, they did. They did. I was still sick the following Tuesday. Like the Tuesday was like I was like at 95%, but it's like it was still lingering. And then Saturday night I had started getting a cough. And then like I got some sinus thing where I was like coughing my lungs out. So it's like I got another sickness on top of it at the end. It's like, gosh, dang it. So, but all good now.
Heck
Good.
yeah.
I'm glad you're healthy.
Thanks. Glad you guys are healthy and handsome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You're handsome too.
I try. It just doesn't work out very well.
Okay. So the next thing, so I'll see Lane, I'll see you this weekend to practice.
Yep.
Are we practicing next week, Chip, when you come down?
Depends on scheduling because I'll be coming down during the week probably.
As long
So
as we practice in the evening, I should be free.
yeah. So
What
that one's a maybe.
Okay.
what days are you coming?
I have no idea yet.
Okay.
It just depends on work and like kind of what I have scheduled.
Yeah, I mean, same thing here. Is like as long as we practice in the evening time, then for me, if it's Monday, Tuesday after 3 o'clock, I'm down because I get off at 3. Then Wednesdays I get off at 5.
Well, once I get my van running properly again, I'll strap my caber to the top of it and I'll bring my caber down and I'll just leave it at my dad's. Or I guess I could just, one of these times I'm down there, I could just make one at my dad's. So, but, and then that way we'll have a caber down there. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, again, thanks for hopping on the Highland Games podcast. I'm stoked to keep doing this for sure. So, and Lane, I'll see you, I'm sure, later next week, I guess, for your own personal podcast episode. So, does
Oh
that sound
yeah.
good?
Yeah, you still got me nervous. I gotta go over some.
Good. Just make sure you ship first.
Yeah, don't trust me, but that's gonna happen. Fun fact: I've been playing with a little squishy shit this whole time.
I know. I noticed.
A little fidget.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, thank you all so much for hopping on, and I'll catch y'all later. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay.
May the
See ya.
force